Hey there people, it's your favorite WeedleTwineedle bringing you all another Scarlet and Violet VGC video, but today we are starting a bit of a new series on the channel. I'm going to start doing Monotype teams in VGC just for a little fun thing to do. I know a lot of people are a fan of Monotype. I'm not going to be doing Monotype teams against each other, although there is a Monotype versus Monotype matchup in this video, funnily enough, but yeah, if you all are excited for this series, make sure to leave a like, comment on what Monotype teams or combos you want to see. And yeah, but there is a slight twist to this little series I'm doing, and it's kind of similar to what the Scarlet and Violet gym leaders are doing with tera-types. You have one Pokemon that is an off-type to your team, but it has to have the terrestrialized type of the, Monotype team that you're using. For example, Iono has a Mismagius that terrestrializes to an electric type to match her electric type team. So yeah, that's how I'm going to be doing this series. And if you have a problem with that, if you have any suggestions for combos to do with that in mind, leave them in the comments. I'm definitely looking for viewer suggestions, and let's get to the team I'm using. Today we are doing Mono Rock. I know it's a bit of an odd type to start with. I wanted to use this Rock Terra Breloom I found in the wild, and I thought that using it alongside Sand's defensive utility, increasing the special defense by 1.5 times, that's a pretty good increase, and Breloom has the poison heal ability, so I want to take advantage of that. I know most Brelooms like to spam Spore and use Technician stuff, but I wanted to take a little slower approach to Breloom, and with that in mind, we do have Tyranitar on the team to set the Sand, and we also have Iron Thorns, the Paradox form. I thought this would just be a little fun thing to do on a Mono Rock team. It's kind of similar to what I did with the Triple Moth, Volcarona, Iron Moth, Slither Wing thing, but I'm just going to try it out with Tyranitar and Iron Thorns. Now another twist we have to this Sand team is instead of Lycanroc Midday form, we're actually using Lycanroc Dusk because I wanted a Pokemon that hits really hard. I figured that some people would misty it at team preview and expect Sand Rush, so that was kind of what I was going for as well. But I also wanted to try out Lycanroc Dusk. I think it's pretty underlooked in the current VGC format. And we're also packing Glimmora, also known as Gita's Wig. Gita's ace Pokemon, we are packing it on this team. And then we have Garganacl, a nice defensive rock type, to, kind of make this team a little more viable. And then last but certainly not least, we have the Breloom. So if I bring Breloom, I'm going to try my very best to terrestrialize it into a rock type, although if it doesn't seem possible in the matchup, I'm not going to prioritize that. I'm not trying to make this too hard on myself, but yeah. Maybe I'll do that in the future, we'll see. But yeah, that's the team we are packing for this video. My first opponent today is packing a relatively scary team for Mono Rock. They have Fluttermane, who's actually not too big of a deal, surprisingly enough, but Corviknight is really scary. That's really good defensive typing with access to Roost and Bulk Up and Body Press. That's really scary for my team to deal with. They're also packing Tyranitar, which is kind of cool to see. Amoonguss, who is kind of a hindrance because I don't have too much Spore counterplay outside of Garganacl's ability, and the fact that it's just really defensive and can live a lot of attacks. Even though I try to alleviate that with my team building, it still isn't the best matchup for me. And then my opponent has Grimmsnarl for screens, and then they have Chimpao. So that's the matchup for this first battle, and let's just get into it. My opponent's trainer card's kind of cute, they're just holding a Curlia for some reason, and I have a Mono Rock, I have Tyranitar and Iron Thorns in my trainer card. I wanted to try to roleplay as a gym leader, so yeah, my opponent's gonna lead off with Tyranitar and their Grimmsnarl, so I'm gonna lead off with Garganacl and Glimmora. So really defensive lead on my part, but I really wanted to just try the defensive part of this team, and I figure Garganacl is pretty good. So they actually Terra Rock their Tyranitar. They're trying to prove they are a better Rock type trainer, so I'm up for that challenge. They go for a light screen with their Grimmsnarl. I just go for a Toxic into the Tyranitar just because I want to put that thing on a timer. I assumed it was like a Salt Bust or something, and then it'd be annoying to knock out, so yeah, I just go for a Toxic into that, as they just go for a low kick, and it does do a lot of damage. I didn't realize Garganacl would take that much from a low kick, but this is the event Garganacl that they gave out after Garganacl won a regional. It was an event thing that they did, so yeah, this is that same Garganacl. I just changed up his Terra and moveset a bit. I'm gonna go for the Stealth Rocks here. That's right, Stealth Rocks in VGC. I am an innovative genius. I figure with Solcure's chip damage, Stealth Rock can force the opponent out. Solcure forces the opponent out, and then Stealth Rocks punishes that a little bit. Same thing with Toxic damage chipping, so yeah, I'm gonna go for Reflect to set up the screens and match this annoying Grimmsnarl, as Grimmsnarl is just gonna try to not go for a screen. They go for a low kick. They really want this Garganacl dead, because I totally understand Garganacl is a really frustrating to fight against, so I figure not using Garganacl on a Mono Rock team would be kind of what am I doing? Same thing with, Gita's Wig, aka Glimmora. I go for a recovery right here just because I want to keep myself healthy and stall out some damage with Toxic. And now I said the S slur. I didn't say that this isn't a stall team, I promise. Okay, it kind of is. I know a lot of people don't like stall teams, but listen, I really want to take a defensive approach, and playing defensively can actually help you improve at the game. Playing super hyper offensively all the time and just pressing buttons is really fun, more fun than stalling a lot, but also just taking a nice slow defensive play, taking it slow and setting up a win condition is almost more satisfying. if you have the right, mindset. I understand that this isn't like everyone's favorite playstyle, and I definitely understand if this video does pretty bad, but hopefully that doesn't like impact the whole, series, because I do plan on making like more offensively based teams. It just happens that, the sort of idea I had in mind with, Breloom and Sand and, stuff like that, it kind of just made out to this team. And sometimes, you just gotta play defensively. I know a lot of people don't like that, but okay, like, it's okay. We'll get through this together. So I just go for Venoshock into the Grimmsnarl. It lives at a very low health because of the light screen. They go for a low kick, and my opponent finally accomplishes what they were looking for. They go for the Spear Break, low kick combination, knock out my Garganacl. I bet they were so happy. I'm actually clapping for my opponent, like they did it. They knocked out the annoying ass Garganacl. But at least Vita's Wake hasn't been touched. They don't want that Toxic Debris to pop off. I was thinking about going Corrosion on this Glimmora because of the fact that I have Toxic, but unfortunately I decided to go with Toxic Debris just because it's easier to use and it has some cute synergy on this team, which I'll get into once I go over the rental code. Grimmsnarl is going to feint to Poison as they are going to bring out their Chiampao. As I'm going to bring out my Breloom, it's time to bring in my Grass type, who I'm going to actually immediately Terrestrialize into a Rock type. Their Sword of Rune's going to activate, but I'm going to expect like an Ice type move. They're actually going to switch out Tyranitar because they don't want to take a Fighting type attack from the Breloom, which is totally understandable. They're not Flying type Terra Blast, totally understand. They're going to bring in their Flutter Mane here, take some Stealth Rock damage, which is really nice. And now I'm going to Terrestrialize my Breloom into a Rock type and get that, special defense increase with the Sand. And yeah, so we're going to Terrestrialize Rock. And then we should be able to live one hit from the Chiampao, unless it like crits me and it's like Life Orb or something. I should be able to live an Icicle Crash or whatever, or Ice Spinner. They go for Ice Spinner into Breloom. It does do a really big chunk of damage, and it actually turns out they are Life Orb, which is kind of surprising. A lot of Chiampaos usually run Focus Sash. I go for the Psy Toxic into my own Breloom. You probably thought I had a Poison Orb. No, I have Side Toxic into the Breloom. It is kind of inconsistent. You don't always get the Poison Heal off, but if you play around it a lot and do the right pivots, you can actually get leftovers with Poison Heal if you play it well enough. And that's another cute synergy on this Sand team we have right here. We go for Drain Punch, knock out the Chiampao. Sand's going to subside, which kind of sucks because that means my Breloom's going to take, neutral damage. It does take neutral from Flutter Mane, but we don't have the Sand increase to help with that. Because Breloom, even though it's heavily defensively invested and HP invested, I made my HP stat a certain number so I get like optimal health from, both Poison Heal and Leftovers. It's 1/16 and 1/8, so I get 10 HP from Leftovers and 20 HP from Poison Heal. So I'm going to go for Protect right here. No reason not to. They actually set up the Sand for me, which is really kind. Very kind of them. I do have Tyranitar in the back, if I recall correctly, so we actually both Protect. And now the Flutter Mane is going to just go for a Moonblast, but I don't even think that would have killed me, to be honest, but I just protected just because I have no reason not to just get some Leftovers and Poison Heal back. I go for the Light Screen as well, getting more special defense, and I have the Sand up, so I'm pretty sure this Flutter Mane is actually going to tickle me, which is very unlike the Flutter Mane Breloom matchup, but that's just, what the Sand can do with screen support as well, so yeah. The Tyranitar is also poisoned, so it's on a timer, and I think the Flutter Mane sees what's coming. I have Leech Seed and I have Toxic, so my opponent does know what's coming, and they actually concede. They do forfeit, knowing that the game is lost, and that this Breloom is just going to slowly win the game. Hopefully you all enjoyed that first battle. I got to showcase the Poison Heal Terra Rock Breloom tech. We don't actually carry Spore on Breloom, we are an honest Breloom. If you see the glass half empty, I guess you could say this Breloom is more evil than a Spore. Sword Stance Sweeping Breloom, you gotta admit it is a nice change of pace to how Brelooms are typically played. So hopefully you all enjoyed that first battle, and let's move on to the next one. My next opponent today is packing a pretty scary team for us to deal with. Chi-Yu and Ting-Lu are pretty obnoxious, Ting-Lu especially with that ground typing hitting us all super effectively, outside of Breloom of course. They have Iron Bundle, who also has super effective water moves, Scizor with Bullet Punch, which is really scary for a mono rock team. Flutter Mane is Flutter Mane, pretty scary by itself, and then they have Gyarados, who has Intimidate and also is super effective against rock types. So overall, doesn't look the greatest for us, but we will try our best in this matchup. They're taking like a selfie with other besties. That's cute. I think my trainer card's better, but hey, I like that you have friends, Pokemon player. A lot of Pokemon players don't have friends, so you're doing better than most of us. Anyway, I'm sorry. And they're going to lead off with Scizor and Chi-Yu. I'm going to lead off with Glimmora and Iron Thorns. Now, this Iron Thorn set might raise some eyebrows because I have a Quark Drive in the attack, but I actually have Iron Defense Body Press. Now the reasoning for that is because I wanted to showcase the interaction with Quark Drive / Photosynthesis and just Body Press in general. You actually get an increase in Iron Defense Body Press damage when you get the Quark Drive into attack. It's actually a really weird interaction. Dewablet told that to me, and I'm just going to believe anything he says because he's the mechanics god, and I'm just a nobody to his, knowledge of this game. So I go for Iron Defense with my Iron Thorns. We switched into a Psychic from that Chi-Yu, by the way. That was totally intentional. I totally predicted that. I definitely didn't just bring in my Tyranitar to die to a Bullet Punch and set up the sand. Nope, that was totally on purpose. Yep. So they're going to switch out of the Chi-Yu. Assuming they're locked into Psychic. Why else would you have Psychic? You have to be a choice Chi-Yu, right? So they're going to bring Gyarados, Intimidate both Iron Thorns and my Tyranitar. But like I mentioned, Iron Defense Body Press with the Quarter Driven attack means that I will not be taking an attack drop really on this. We're going to do huge damage with that Body Press at +2, and they're actually going to go for a U-turn. I Terraflying my Tyranitar. I accidentally read that U-turn. I was trying to avoid a Bullet Punch because this Scizor was really threatening, but you know what? We'll take that. So I'm just like accidentally predicting my opponent. I'll admit when some stuff I do is like on accident. When I make a big play and I do it on purpose, I definitely point it out, but sometimes I gotta be honest. I am an honest person, mostly. Off that topic, let's move on. We're gonna take some sand damage and more sand damage. I'm gonna take my own sand damage because I'm a flying type. They're gonna Terrestrialize into a fairy type here with their Flutter Mane, as they're gonna go for a Moonblast, and I believe that's going to knock out my Tyranitar. They go for Iron Thorns, but thanks to the sand boost, we're able to survive, just barely survive. But they just double target me with a Waterfall, so unfortunately Iron Thorns doesn't get to do too much, although I will admit it did do a lot with that Body Press chip damage on a Scizor. That's definitely gonna help me later because Scizor is a very big threat to a Model Rock team. Gonna go for a Rock Slide here and do around 40% to both the Flutter Mane and the Gyarados. The Gyarados unfortunately has a berry. I believe it's a Citrus Berry. Yeah, they have a Citrus Berry, so they're going to get some health back, but they should be in range of another Rock Slide if I'm able to get that off. But yeah, they're going to take some sand damage. We're all going to take sand damage. I should really speed up for the rest of the next battles in this video. I will be speeding up the sand damage. So yeah, I'm going to bring in my Glimmora here, and now the Gyarados will protect. And the Flutter Mane's gonna go for a Boom Blast, and I'm like, okay, please live this Assault Blast Tyranitar, as we're able to live. I'm assuming that's a Specs Flutter Mane. I'm not 100% sure. I could be wrong, but gonna go for the Venoshock into the Flutter Mane and knock it out. And yeah, down goes the Flutter Mane. Terra Fairy doesn't sweep our entire team, thankfully. I love Flutter Mane myself. I think it's honestly a healthy top tier Pokemon. A lot of people might disagree with me, but I actually think Flutter Mane isn't the most toxic top tier Pokemon among us. Anyway, Terra Blast gonna hit a Protect. I just went for Terra Blast because I didn't want to miss Rock Slide. Rock Slide's very inconsistent. It's a very, a good move if you flinch, but it feels so bad when you miss it. But they're gonna bring in their Chi-Yu right now, and I'm not too sure what they want to go for. They might just go for Psychic again, but yeah, they actually do go for Psychic into my Glimmora, but because of the sand boost, we're able to live. I'm assuming that is Choice Specs Chi-Yu. That crit me as well. I forgot about that. Yeah, these battles happened like over a month ago, most of them anyway. They go for a Waterfall into my Tyranitar, knocking me out, which is okay. Down goes my Tyranitar, but you know what? Tyranitar did a pretty good job just taking some attacks from Flutter Mane, and it just did some stuff. With the sand especially, that sand utility came in clutch. Sadly, the sand's going to subside, but I do have my Lycanroc Duskform, who is Choice Banded, and can definitely clean up this game as long as I'm able to hit my Rock Slides and my Accelerox. So yeah, I just go for the Accelerock here, just on the off chance that she was Choice Scarf. I was, 90% sure it was Specs, but, considering Glimmora lived like a crit Psychic, it could just be Scarf, you never know. So I just go for Venoshock into Gyarados and the Accelerock into Chi-Yu. I assumed I have the opponent in a pin, and I forgot why I didn't edit out this wait time, but it's okay. They go for Protect with their Gyarados. I don't really know why, but, I'll take it. I go for the Accelerock into the Chi-Yu, knocking it out because of the Tough Claws stab boost. Down goes Chi-Yu, and yeah, I don't think many people are calculating for Lycanroc Dusk. That is also a nice part of Lycanroc Dusk form. You just have huge priority damage from the Flutter Mane, but you can also do Terra Fight in close combat and really nuke something. So I think Lycanroc has potential. They're going to protect their Scizor because they're just really trying to call this game out, but I think I have the opponent in a pin because I can just Tele-Wreck the Scizor, avoiding the Bullet Punch kill into my Glimmora, and then Venoshock will outspeed the Gyarados, knocking it out, which is exactly what happens. Down goes the Gyarados, and for now, I believe the opponent concedes. Yeah, they do forfeit. So we're able to defeat Scizor and a lot of Pokemon that are good against us. And, this Model Rock team's honestly pretty solid. I'm sorry. Okay, my next opponent, Jay, is packing Meowscarada, who is actually, who's fallen off quite a bit, but it's actually a really big threat to a Mono Rock team. That Flower Trick automatic crit is really scary. They're also packing Talonflame, who I don't think they're bringing to this game, but Priority Tailwind is still very good. They have Flutter Mane, Garchomp, who is really scary for this team to deal with. And they have Gengar and Dragapult. So they have 3 ghost types. They're low-key, like, giving Agatha, like, maybe they're building a mono ghost team themselves. Never know. Anyway, let's just get into this battle. My opponent's trainer card is cute. They have a nice shiny Umbreon. I love that for you, Jay. And we're in the Diamond Block Minecraft Stadium. Yay! I guess since I have Garganacl, it does make sense I get this stadium. But man, do I want some other battle stadiums besides this one and the default one. I just get those 2. Anyway, I'm going to Terastallize Flying turn 1 because I don't want to do a Flower Trick. And I'm going to protect my Iron Thorns in case they Flower Trick into Iron Thorns. They go for a Dazzling Gleam with their Flutter and I should be able to live this because of my Assault Vest, and it does actually have Life Orb on the Flutter. They go for a Flower Trick, and we do protect ourselves. I don't want to get annihilated by a Flower Trick, and I'm going to go for the Terraflying Terra Blast into Meowscarada. I'm sorry, girl, but like, I have a Mono Rock team. I gotta take you down. They have the Focus Sash with the Overgrow combination, but the Sand chip damage is going to finish off that Meowscarada. So Sand, once again, showing off the utility it has. It's really useful to have if you play around it. And I mean, Sand is just super nice. Like, I think Sand's pretty underrated, even as a way just to counter other weathers. Like, Sand is pretty good. They're gonna go for a Phantom Force here with their Dragapult. Just go in the, go in the void. Go for another Dazzling Gleam. And right now, we're going to get a nice Rock Slide miss on both the opponents. Of course, Dragapult was out of, sight. And I go for the Assurance into the Dragapult slot, just trying to kill it. But my opponent goes for Phantom Force. That was a really good Phantom Force. I wasn't expecting it, though. I guess like Dragapult has no other ghost moves it can click, so I'm gonna switch out of my Tyranitar, not wanting it to get killed by the Phantom Force. And I do have the Purifying Salt, which takes reduced damage from Phantom Force. They just go into this Iron Thorns, and I accidentally predict Power Gem there. I did not know that Fluttermane had Power Gem, but you know what? We take those. They must hate Volcarona, or maybe it's for like Iron Bundle. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what Power Gem Fluttermane is for, because I'm kind of like scratching my head a bit. But they're gonna bring in their Gengar here with Dragapult out in the field. They have 2 ghost types. And now I think I just go for Assault here. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't cut this out. I just go for Rock Slide. I think they forfeit here because they just know, like, I have 4 Pokemon left, they have 2, and, like, that's a Garganacl in the Minecraft Stadium. They don't have a chance. So hopefully you all enjoyed that battle against Jay. Pretty fast-paced for a pretty defensive team. See what I mean? Like, this team isn't all that bad. Like, it's not that, stally. Okay, let's move on to the next battle. Okay, my next opponent is an Ice-type Gym Leader with their Abomasnow, Weavile, Chiampao, Ice-Q, Iron Bundle, and Frostlass. So overall, I love my opponent's team. They did not get the best matchup, unfortunately for them, but you know what? We're having a mid-off between our monotypes, so let's just get right into it. They're going to lead off with their Abomasnow and their Ice-Q, as I decide to not lead off with my Sand because we are fighting Snow, and I lead off with my Lycanroc and my Glamora. I can go for some screens if I want to, but instead I'm just going to switch out to Glamora turn 1 because I want to get rid of this, Snow so the opponent cannot go for the Aurora Veil. It's kind of like a dick move, to be honest. I should have just let him get it off, but no, I am a Gym Leader. I must fight my heart out and go for the Accelerock into the Abomasnow as well, trying to bring it down to a Focus Sash if it had it, but it does survive it with very low HP, if, assuming it's not sashed. And they fail the Aurora Veil and then go for the Bally Drum with their Ice-Q. So the Ice-Q is at +6, that's pretty scary. However, their face is not broken, so they're not actually super speedy. They are probably faster than Tyranitar because my Tyranitar has like 0 speed investment. I'm an Assault Vest, very tanky Tyranitar. But yeah, I'm going to switch out a Lycanroc here because I'm assuming they're going to target into that Lycanroc slot. It is really threatening to their Mono Ice team. More so than Tyranitar because they probably can sense the Tyranitar is like more bulky and they probably have ways to outspeed it. They have Trailblaze, which is interesting. I respect that though. They want to be a speedy Abomasnow. They're going to hit me with the Waterfall and that's going to one-shot Gita's Wig, unfortunately. With a crit as well. They did not like Gita's Wig, but it's okay. Toxic Debris should go off here, right? Wait. Oh, I had Corrosion in this battle. Okay, I was testing out with Corrosion, but I think I just ended off with Toxic Debris. Here I go for the Dragon Tail, and we're going to force out that Ice-Base Ice-Q, force out the Iron Bundle, get rid of the Ice Base, and get rid of the Bally Drum with that Dragon Tail. And Dragon Tail is obviously meant to synergize with the Stealth Rocks on the Garganacl, and the Sand's going to finish off the Abomasnow. So sad for the Abomasnow. But my opponent is not going to give up. They think they can win this Mono Ice team, and I respect it. I respect opponents who play it out until the end. And they're going to bring out their Ice-Q with no face, which looks so depressing, but low-key, this is like what Ice-Q wants to be. I'm going to Accelerock into the Iron Bundle. I'm going to be nice and not go for the Ice-Q. I just want to get rid of the Iron Bundle. They go for the Chilling Water, which is, I respect Chilling Water. They don't want to miss the Hydro Pump. Going to hit me with a Waterfall. It does do nothing because Ice-Q sucks. I love Ice-Q so much. I tried to use it. I had Garganacl on that team. It was a Snow team with Garganacl, that's right. Anyway, we're going to get a double knockout with that Rock Slide. We don't miss the Rock Slide. And now they're going to bring out their Chiampao. I think this is their last Pokemon, and my opponent, this is like their ace right here. They're broken legendary. I respect it though. They're gonna I'm gonna switch out Tyranitar because I don't want it to get knocked out by a Sacred Sword. I might want to reset the sand for later as well. Gonna break out my Iron Thorns, who does have the Quirk Drive to get an attack, and then I do have the Body Press, so things like quad weak to that Body Press. And the Sand's gonna break the Focus Sash most likely, assuming it's not the last turn of Sand. I forgot, but they're gonna Terastallize their Chiampao into a Dark type. So they are not weak to Accelerock. They're going to live that, pretty nicely, actually. And Sacred Sword's going to finish off my Lycanroc. So they don't go for the Tyranitar slot like I thought they would, but it's okay. Down goes Lycanroc. Pal's going to take some Sand Chip. And now I'm just going to bring back in my Assault Vest Tyranitar. What's taking me so long? Hurry up. I was probably multitasking while doing this battle. I do that a lot. I wonder why I lose so much. But I'm going to Terastallize my Tyranitar because I'm expecting a Sacred Sword into that slot. It's kind of like an odd flex play, but I just sensed it. So they go for the Sacred Sword into Tyranitar. I got to, show who the better Monotype trainer is, and Body Press is going to finish off that Chiampao. Thanks to that, attack photosynthesis boost, increasing our Body Press damage output. But yeah, down goes the Chiampao to that Body Press, and we're able to defeat the Mono Ice with Mono Rock. What a surprise. But you know what? The opponent made it closer than I thought it would be. Shout outs to the opponent for trying Monotype. Monotype is not easy to do. So we're able to defeat Mono Ice. I figured this was, a little bit more casual. It was just nice to show Monotype versus Monotype. So yeah, let's move on to the last battle. Okay, my final opponent is packing Palafin, Arcanine, Amoonguss, Dragapult, Chiampao, and Fluttermane. So I think this is Justin Tang's team. I'm 99% sure it is. I could be wrong though. It looks similar. Palafin is a really big threat to a Mono Rock team, as you would suspect. Like, it's a really strong, bulky water type, and then it has like Amoonguss for support, and Chiampao to reduce my physical defense. So this matchup doesn't look the best, but let's just get into it. Alright, so my opponent's gonna lead off with Palafin and Amoonguss. Once again, we're in this freaking diamond block Minecraft stadium. Like, we just can't get enough of it, whatever. So we're gonna lead off with our Tyranitar and Lycanroc, and we're really trying to knock out this Amoonguss because we don't want to get put to sleep. They're gonna bring out their Arcanine, intimidate us, but I still think we can knock it out with this combo attack we got planned. Unfortunately, Amoonguss protects for whatever reason. I thought that was the freest spore of its life. My opponent just played it safe, and it works out because I go for the Banded Psychic Fangs into Assurance, which does knock out the Amoonguss through Citrus Berry. Maybe not through Intimidate though. I don't know. But either way, I got wrecked with that Protect. So I'm gonna switch out into my Garganacl, expecting a Spore into the Amoonguss slot, but they just go for the Rage Powder, surprisingly. And now they're going to go for a Will-O-Wisp into my Tyranitar. And I was like, ugh, this Amoonguss is pissing me off. So instead of trying to go for some chip damage, I just go for a nice Dragon Tail. And I get a nice crit too, just to send a message, But yeah, we're going to Dragon Tail out the Amoonguss and bring out the Fluttermane. And that's a really good utility with the Dragon Tail. I actually kind of want to bring in Palafin, but Fluttermane works as well because we're able to consume the booster energy and have it take some Stealth Rock damage. Or sorry, sand damage, my bad. But yeah, we got taken some sand damage on the off chance it was like Sash. That Sand Chip would have broken that as well. They go for a Moonblast with that booster energy. It doesn't do too much, and now we're able to go for a Stealth Rocks into the opponent. Oh, I do go for Stealth Rocks this game, of course I do. But yeah, I go for Dragon Tail into Arcanine, and they block it with Protect, and they're like, oh wow, I'm so sorry that I went for Protect against your Dragon Tail. Let me just, switch out my Arcanine for whatever reason. I don't really know why, because it's going to take some Stealth Rocks damage, and it's against a Mono Rock team. Isn't really that important to keep, but whatever. I'm going to switch out my Tyranitar here, because I don't want it to die to a Moonblast. I'm going to bring in my Lycanroc here. Really greedy, but I was pretty sure I could live a Moonblast, and we actually do. I'm able to go for Assault here into the Fluttermane, and now we're going to do some chip damage every turn. And now I'm going to try to knock out the Fluttermane with an Accelerock. The opponent could Rage Powder it away, but surprisingly they just let me Accelerock into the Fluttermane, knocking it out. And I think they just get Salt Cured. Yeah, they get Salt Cured. I do not believe they have Covert Cloak, so they're actually going to get cured, yep. And they try to go for Pollen Puff, trying to heal up their Fluttermane, but thankfully we're able to knock it out with that Accelerock, outspeeding it. And now the Sand's going to wear off, which is kind of unfortunate, because I got to chip down this Amoonguss, otherwise it's just never going to die. In comes the Palafin, and Palafin is very scary now it's in its heroic form. I'm going to Terastallize my Garganacl into a Water type to match this Diamond Block Stadium, as they're just going to go for a Rage Powder to redirect the Salt Cure, which is totally fair. I just tried to get some chip damage onto the Palafin, but unfortunately they redirected away with the Rage Powder. But it's okay, they just go for Jump Punch to knock out my Lycanroc, but Honestly, as long as I have this Terra Water Garganacl alive for the Palafin, Palafin should not be able to beat me, though it just depends on the opponent's last Pokemon, but they just have the Amoonguss and the Arcanine, and I'm pretty sure with Garganacl I could just solo win this game, especially because the Amoonguss isn't Cover Cloak. If the Amoonguss is Cover Cloak, this matchup can be kind of tricky, but otherwise, our Terra Water Garganacl does help deal with Palafin, so they're going to go for the Rage Powder. I just protect because I'm expecting a Water attack into my Iron Thorns, as we're able to predict that correctly, protect ourselves from that Wave Crash. Now I'm going to go for the Salt Cure into the Amoonguss because they're just forcing me to with the Rage Powder. I was trying to target down Palafin. Obviously, it's a big threat, but we're able to knock out Amoonguss, so I'm kind of relieved about that more so than the Palafin. And now in comes the Arcanine, who's going to take some Stealth Rocks damage, and they're going to Intimidate us, but we do have the Body Press to chip down of both these Pokemon, but unfortunately, I don't want to die to a Wave Crash, so I'm actually going to sack off my Tyranitar to get the Sand set up, so it takes more chip damage, the Palafin, and I'm pretty sure the Arcanine is Safety Goggles, so it's worth mentioning that it actually does take Sand damage. But yeah, Jet Punch going to knock out my Tyranitar, and now they're going to go for a Will-O-Wisp. It's going to fail because of Purifying Salt, and the Salt Cure is going to go into Palafin, and now the Salt Cure stalling begins. I know, it's so scary. Defensive play is so scary. Anyway, they're going to go for E-Speed into the Garganacl, and I don't go for Protect because I was expecting them to read it maybe, but they just go for the knockout onto Iron Thorns, not wanting to take a Wild Charge, which I don't have, but I totally understand why they went for that. But now, I'm able to go for Salt Cure into the Arcanine as Palafin takes so much chip damage, so it's basically like the Iron Thorns attacked into it. But yeah, Sand damage and Salt Cure is going to basically win this game. Arcanine's going to take a little bit longer. My opponent basically knows that, you know, they were handled by this Garganacl, and Garganacl is still really good. It's super annoying, and, you know, it kind of needs to exist because it does kind of counter Calyrex Shadow Rider with the Purifying Salt and Wide Guard. So I do have Wide Guard for like Garchomp, Earthquake, and stuff, but I don't really get to showcase it in this video. My opponent's going to concede, and we're able to defeat the Palafin balance matchup with Garganacl. I do want to mention a few other things with this team that you could do. So with Dragon Tail Tyranitar, what you can do is set up a screen with Glimmora, target your own Glimmora with Dragon Tail, setting up a layer of Toxic Spikes and pivoting in something for free. If you want to see like the exact EV spreads and stuff, I'll leave a link to the Pokebase in the description if that interests you. If you have any other questions about this team, leave them in the comments. Let me know in the comments what your favorite Lycanroc form is, and I'll check you all in my next video.